My ex-husband wants to get back at me for leaving him, so what does he decide to do? He tries to get a job at my family business. Why would my parents allow this, you ask? Well, because of my sister. Allow me to tell you a story about my reckless self. When I was 15 years old, I fell in love with this handsome boy from school. I just moved to that new high school and I had no friends at all, so I was a loner, and then this boy approached me and he greeted me. He asked me why I was alone, and I told him that I was actually new at school and that I was still getting used to everyone and everything around me. He suggested that we could actually be friends. I was a little shy, so I told him that I would be better off without him and that I would find friends of my own gender. He was obsessed with me, and he would send me letters when I was in class, and he would always do cute things around the hallway so that when I left class, I would see how much he was trying to win my heart. I must admit that I was mind-blowing, and every girl in school was just jealous of me because he was known to be the most handsome of boys. Not only on the soccer team, but also in the whole school. Apart from being handsome, he was also very famous. I then told my parents that I met this cute guy at school, and they got really angry because they thought I was still underage. I should only focus on school. They said that boys could be manipulative, and they didn't even want me to end up uneducated. I was so angry at my parents because this boy was actually my first love, and the thought of not being together with him just killed me. After he proposed to me, I agreed to start dating him, but unfortunately we were dating in secrecy because I could not handle my parents finding out that I was actually having a boyfriend at the age of 15. By the time my sister, she's 30, was 7 years of age, and she did not really understand what was going on. Although she saw the arguments between our parents and me about this boy that I met at school. Since our parents did not want us to be together, Spencer suggested that we just run away. He wanted us to get eloped. After hearing that, I knew that he was serious about me and that he wanted to spend his whole life with me, but because of our parents, our relationship was hard. We then ran away together and got married the first chance we got. We could not really make it an official thing because we were underage, and we were too young and dumb, of course, but we were happy and in love. I ran away from home and did not come back for 9 years. I then got pregnant. We lived in a small shack and we didn't need anything because we could just take care of ourselves. But guys, after I got pregnant, I needed to make sure that I was eating healthy, and I was seeing the nurses every month to make sure that the baby was healthy. And it was something that we could simply not afford. I started regretting it, and I wanted to go back home. I approached Spencer so we could talk about going back home because everyone would have known by then that we were married and we were expecting our first child. But he did not want to go back home because he believed that his parents would not take him back. So, I kept insisting that I wanted to go back home because the child needed to be safe and secure, and so he started calling me ungrateful. He said that he left everything just so he could be with me, and it made me feel bad, about myself, because he mostly mentioned how he left his fame at school, and how he ran away from being spoiled by his parents just so he could be with me. He made it seem like I did not give up everything on my side, just so I could be with him as well, and so I decided to walk away. Well, he was very angry at me, and he said that he would do anything to get back at me for being so ungrateful towards him. The hard part was that I was trying to find a job, but I couldn't, because I had no qualifications. We were both high school dropouts, so it was very hard to find work. Okay, let's fast forward. I'm now back at home, and my child has turned 6 years of age. It's unfortunate that she did not get to meet her dad because he gave up on us. But I try by all means to make her feel like she has both parents in her life. I must admit that it's not been easy, but I guess parenting's not a walk in the park. My parents refused to help me out when it came to meeting my daughters once as a punishment for getting eloped with my high school love. I know that I've been reckless, but they cannot take their anger out of my baby. She already has to suffer as her father's not around. And now she has to face my parents criticizing her because of my mistakes. Update number 1. Yeah, I know, guys, it's been 2 years since my last post, and I think that my parents have finally seen how much I've been struggling. So they offered me a job at the company after I forced, cried, and begged them to give me a job. They felt like I was worthless just because I did not have a degree or high school certificate. So, they thought there was nothing that I could actually do that was worth adding value to the company. On the other hand, my sister's the director of the company, and she does not see me as her older sister, as apparently I neglected her when I ran away with my high school love. I know that what I did was wrong, and I don't know how I can make it up for it, but they don't need to punish me for it all the time because I've learned my valuable lesson and I'm ready to move on as a person. But unfortunately, no one really cares about how you move on from your mistakes because all they think about is the mistake that you made and nothing else matters. I started work 6 months ago, and now that I have money, I can actually afford to take my child to a good school. All I want is to teach my child never to fall in love in school, and as now I totally understand why my parents did not want me to fall deeply in love when I was in school because people are fake. Talking about fake people, you cannot believe who I just saw today. Well, I saw him before, but I thought that I'd making, a mistake from someone else. I thought that there was no way that he would show up, but unfortunately for me, it was him. Even though what we had was long time ago, I still got butterflies in my stomach just looking at him. Well, I met Spencer, my ex-husband, I would say. I could not believe that it was him, and I wondered why he chose our firm as a place to work out of all the companies in town. The only thing that came to mind was the last words that he said to me when I left. He said that I would regret leaving him and that he would do anything to get back at me, and I strongly believe that's the only reason that he showed up. Wow. Although, yes, he has changed, I still know his eyes and I still recognize his smile. I don't know how I'm going to convince my sister to fire him because I know that he's up to no good. Or maybe I'm just jealous because of the way that he talks to other ladies. The way he smiles and the thought of never being able to have what we had before. I thought I've gotten over him, but crazily, I still feel the same way I felt years ago. I feel so stupid that I feel like a teenager again, just looking at him. It's like I never learned my lesson, and all I wish is to run to him and tell him about how wonderful our daughter is. But there's one thing that I cannot do, so I'll just keep on wishing. I know it'll take time before my sister finally believes that what I'm telling her is true. But I'll try by all means to make sure that this man does not ruin my family. I don't trust anything that he says because I know that the only reason he's back is because he wants revenge, and that he wants to make me feel the same way that he felt when I left him. The first thing is that I never actually forced him to run away from me, as I did the same. Well, I don't understand what is wrong with humans. There's complicated creatures like humans on this earth, nothing like us. It's so hard to understand how we function because one moment we're happy with each other and the next moment we want some sort of revenge. And it just goes on and simply never stops. Update number 2. It's been 2 months since my last update, and I got the biggest shock of my life, and I don't think there's anything that can be more shocking than this, honestly. So my sister and I came from work as usual. Although we did not come with the same ride because clearly my sister has issues with me, and she's finding it hard to apparently forgive me for neglecting her. Back to the story, we prepared dinner, and then I went to my room to freshen up and get my daughter ready for dinner as well. So, my sister just kept saying that she had a visitor who was coming over for introductions and all, and I was actually happy for her because I felt like my sister was finally getting her other half, and the fact that she got him at a mature age, unlike me, was most definitely a good thing. Little did I know, her soulmate, was actually Spencer. I did not know until it was time for dinner. She received a call and ran out, and then they walked in together and sat at the table. I'd already started sipping on my wine, and so I choked. I was shocked to see them together, and I was speechless for minutes, and then I wanted to tell my sister about who he really was. I know that this is not the right time, but Gabriella, you need to know something about your so-called soulmate. The man standing next to you is my ex-husband, the same boy that I ran away with. I said to my sister as I placed my wine glass on the table, and my sister looked at me with confusion and anger, and she said that she, just because I mess my life up doesn't mean that I have to mess up hers too. I honestly felt it when she said it because it was filled with anger and hatred. I tried to explain more and support my argument, but it was of no use, because even my mom shut me up and said that I should stop acting jealous of my little sister. If anything, I'm apparently supposed to be proud of her or happy for her. I tried to express to the family that I was happy for her, but I could not be happy if she was about to get into trouble with the guy that she was with. He gave me a sarcastic smile as he proceeded to sit at the table, and I don't know, I no longer had an appetite because seeing his face at the same table and the fact that he was dating my sister was not okay with me, and my mood to just eat went away. I was so angry at her, so I told the family that he was the father of my daughter. Mother and father did not believe me and said that I was bluffing, and Spencer, on the other hand, was threatening me with his eyes. I then demanded a paternity test, and the room went into sudden silence until my sister rebuked me and yelled that I should keep my mouth shut. I was annoyed. I rushed to my room, and I walked up and down in my room as I tried to find a way to expose him because I knew exactly what he was up to. It was too stressful that I'd even lost my appetite for a few days. I'd even lost weight without those a few days because my sister was in the hands of a monster. She was in the hands of a lion in sheep's clothing, and I've not found a solution yet, but I'm yet to find something to break them up. Update number 3. It's been a half year since my last update, and I feel like Spencer has finally done it this time, because now I have no way to keep an eye on him and keep an eye on my sister to make sure that she's safe. In the past 6 months, there have been a lot of things happening around our company, mostly theft, and a lot of people have lost their jobs as apparently they were the suspects of the theft and money laundering. The thing is that my sister's the director of the company and Spencer is her personal assistant, which makes no sense at all because it makes her vulnerable. He can easily manipulate her into giving him all the passwords and pins to safety boxes, and I was not okay with it. I tried to speak up, but my sister apparently did not listen. I was selfish and a jealous freak. We've lost so much money. It all started with a small amount, someone was framed and they lost their job. Then a few weeks later, a larger amount of money was reported missing, and someone else lost their job. As Spencer claims to have proof or to have seen them take the money out of the safety boxes, and honestly, I don't get how he's the only person who sees people stealing. Why is he always around the people who are stealing? It just makes no sense. I approached my sister and told her that the person who was stealing was actually her personal assistant. And guess what? Spencer found a way to frame me as the thief, obviously, and there was no way that I could get out of it. And because my sister was tired of theft going on at the company, she wanted to teach someone a lesson. She was so angry that she was willing to take me to jail for theft, but I managed to convince her to just let it go. I also convinced her to conduct a private investigation into the case of money lost in the country, and surprisingly she agreed. She decided that I was not fired, but I was suspended for the time being as the investigation was ongoing. I have a feeling she might not ask me to come back to work for some time, and I've been trying to find a part-time job, as I can't handle being at home with my judgmental parents. My sister did not make it easy for me, as she wrote me a recommendation, and no one wanted to hire me. It only made matters worse because I already did have a clear education, and then my sister decided to add to my burden. It's just that I don't want to let her fall into Spencer's trap because I don't want to see him have the satisfaction of ruining my family. I really feel like my sister deserves it, but she's not the one that I'm fighting against now, and I have to keep our differences aside just so that I can protect her, as that is what big sisters do. She threatened to fire me for good if I happened to be wrong, and she said that she would also make sure that I never get a job again if I was wrong about Spencer stealing the money. Spencer and my sister have not been around for about a week, as apparently they need some time together, so they went on a little vacation. I truly feel that he might be manipulating and brainwashing her so that when she comes back, she's a new person. But not new for the better, but rather for the worse. I feel that I may not be able to convince her to look beyond what she sees when she looks at him. But hey, either way, I will not accept defeat. I will fight for my family. Update number 4. Approximately 9 months later. Hey guys, I'm not okay with myself because I feel like I'm the most selfish person now. It's not something that I wanted to do. I never wanted it to come to this, but my sister has given me no choice. So the thing is, 6 months ago, my sister came home and announced that she's getting married, and obviously we all knew who she was getting married to, because my parents love Spencer for some reason, and they actually do not believe that he's the Spencer that I fell in love with when I was young. Even though sometimes they keep saying that he looks familiar, it's weird, because if somebody looks familiar and they've been seeing him for so long, the image is supposed to just pop back. And the fact that I'm trying to remind them of who he is, but they kept ignoring it and saying it's annoying. I was not happy with the fact that my sister was getting married to someone that I was unlawfully married to, and I was not willing to see her go down the drain because I knew that, well, what would come after only pain and suffering. I know that Spencer has not changed a bit, and he's still the narcissistic person that I knew. One thing about him is that he's so obsessed with himself that he would not allow anyone to feel superior. I had to find a way to break off the engagement, but it was almost impossible until the wedding day. When the wedding day arrived, I spilled paint on my sister's dress, you see. My sister was aggravated that her wedding gown was ruined, and I could see her, and she wanted to jump on me, just throw me in a ditch or something. Well, we argued about it, and I faked my apology to get her out of my face. She even said that she did not want to see me at the party or at church because she was convinced that I did not want her to be happy. But I swear she has it all wrong. She just doesn't get that I'm trying to protect her, honestly. She's acting like a little spoiled brat, and it's not cute at all. And when they went to church, the pastor asked if there was anyone who objected to the marriage, and I just had to stand. I was willing to do anything to call off that wedding to make sure that my sister was safe. I then announced once more that Spencer was the father of my child, but this time it was public, and the whole church was filled with gasps and whispers. My sister looked a little shocked, but she was more disappointed that I was willing to go to this extent, just to ruin her wedding. I asked Spencer if he denied it, and he actually did deny it. I then presented a paper that proved that he is the father. Gabriella then told Spencer to shut me up and tell everyone that I'm a liar, but he was shocked by the fact that I presented the results. Gabriella asked how I took the test, and I explained that I had to do it in secrecy, just to prove, that I was not a liar. Gabriella then ran off of the altar and stormed out of the church, and I honestly felt like a bad person. Although I was just trying to help her, I tried to run after her to apologize, but she pushed me away and said that she was not ready to talk. She was in her room for 2 weeks, and she did not want to see anyone because she was depressed, and somehow Spencer tried to brainwash her and make sure that they did not break up. I was annoyed because I thought that after what I did to their wedding, he would not want to step foot in our house, but I was wrong because he seemed to be so damn persistent, which he never was in the past, and if I remember very well. But either way, I'm still going to try until he gives up because I can't just watch this. As much as she's very angry with me, I still love her, and I would do anything as a sister to take care of her. I just hope that someday she finds it in her heart to forgive me and truly value what I'm trying to do for her. She also texted me the same night of their wedding and said that she had something to share with me about the private investigation, but she did not want to see my face. Update number 5. It's been 1.5 years since my last update, and finally after a long fight, I managed to convince my sister that Spencer's the same Spencer that I fell in love with long before. The same guy that I ran away with. The same one who ruined my relationship with my sister, so. After the wedding, I knew that Spencer would try by all means to silence me, and so I asked for us to meet up, and he agreed. I needed to find proof in order to get him arrested, and when we met up, he started threatening me. And he said that if I did not keep my mouth shut, then he might just take away my daughter. At first, I was shaken, but I knew that he was bluffing. If he truly meant it, he would have done it without letting me know. I then asked him why he was working at our company and why he wanted to get married to my sister, and to my surprise, without a sweat, he started to confess. You're still that same naive girl I once knew, and you need to stop fighting me because you're not going to win. So you think I'm just going to let you go after what you did? I threw my future away for you, and for what? to get rejected and thrown away by you? I'm not going to go the rest until I make sure that I get what I deserve and what I'm supposed to have in this future. I will ensure that your company is drained of every bit of cash, and things will improve once I wed your stupid, foolish sister. She'll not see it coming, and she'll only realize it when it's already too late." He continued talking more and more, and I could not stop him because he was like rain pouring from the sky. But what he did not know was that I had my sister on the phone the whole time while he was yapping. It was easier than I expected, because I actually thought that he would get into this physical fight or something. He was so mad. But I guess he was just, well, stupid. After I got everything, I pretended like I was scared after the threat, just to throw him off a bit. And then I went home to my sister so we could talk about what to do with that jerk. She began to apologize to me, and she starts to actual sob at this point. She's grieving the moment, so I gave her a bit of space. Apart from the evidence that my sister actually heard and recorded, she said that the secret investigator present his proof that traced back to Spencer, and before Spencer knew it, he was being arrested for theft, fraud, and embezzlement. I was over the moon, just to see him finally go to where he belongs. I finally understood that the only thing that my sister wanted was all of the sister's love. She wanted me to take care of her and show her how much that she did not need to feel scared, but I failed her. I know that I'm a bad sister and a bad daughter, but I just want to make it up to them so that things can go back to the way that they were. I don't think I ever want to fall in love again, unless I fall in love with my family and my baby, because they're all that simply mattered to me. I also got my job back, guys, but instead of having the front desk officer, I became the vice director, and I enrolled in community college as well. Thank you for following. Alright, I was reading the comment section of this one, and a lot of people were so perplexed, wanting to know how the family could not remember this guy for so long, and they simply just didn't believe OP. So I want to know your thoughts about this story, and I don't know, put yourself in OP's position, and what exactly would you do about it? Drop a comment down below. I want to know how you would handle this, guys. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate stories every day, so if you want to be a part of these daily stories, just hit that subscribe button. I'll see you tomorrow, and remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.